Research Australia, and today I'm really pleased to welcome Nisha Narang. And we're going to be talking about something a little bit different today. We're not talking about specifically animal testing, but a different angle, animal-derived products, which are found in medical products, which I think will also be of interest to our listeners. So thank you for joining us, Nisha.
Thank you so much for having me, Rachel.
And I'll start off with a question. Can you tell me a bit more about your background in clinical research and your pathway to founding Leorah Clinical?
Sure. So basically, I'm a pharmacist and I have done my master's in pharmacology, biochemical pharmacology. So I was always interested in, how products, medical products especially, affect the body and how body responds to them. So that has always been my area of interest. And I got to explore it more when I started working in clinical research in 2005. So since 2005, I have worked in different areas of clinical research. When I say different areas, clinical research has many stakeholders. So there are patients, the participants who would participate in the studies. Then there are hospitals or physician sites or phase 1 study units where the study is actually conducted. And there are sponsors who, provide the investigational product. So, and there are organizations that kind of help coordinate all these activities with all these stakeholders. So Leorah Clinical is that kind of an organization.
Okay.
We help sponsors conduct their clinical research at investigative sites in compliance with regulatory standards, depending on whatever country we are working with. So at the moment, we are working in Australia, that is the headquarters, but Leorah also has collaborations with contract research organizations in India, and we are working with independent consultants in Canada. So we have ability to do clinical research in Australia, India, and Canada at the moment.
Yeah, I see. So really just bringing all those different parts together is the role of Leorah Clinical.
Yes, but what is so my reason to founding, because there are many clinical research organizations, there are many clinical research consultants who do this kind of job. But for me, I really wanted to give my abilities and I wanted to bring in expertise in this area towards the products that do not have animal products in it.
Yes. Yeah.
And so this, so we are dedicated to our mission that we want to bring sustainable animal derivative free medical products to people everywhere. And so it is with this dedication that Leorah Clinical is founded. We founded it with that dedication. And we really want to support products that do not have animal. So with clinical research, it is a study in human participants, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But before we get to that stage, the way our regulatory design is right now, and you know that, Rachel, that we like preclinical testing is heavily dependent on animal models.
Yes. Yep. At this stage, unfortunately. Yes. Yep.
Yes. And so, but I'm so grateful for organizations like you that, you are bringing awareness and showing people that there are options, and there are so many people that they want those options. People in general are looking forward to a cruelty-free world. People in general want something that is more compassionate, something that is more sustainable. That is where we are going.
Yeah.
And that is the kind of products that we want to support as Leorah Clinical.
Brilliant. Thank you.
You're welcome. And that's why, the whole idea of founding Leorah Clinical and having expertise from around the globe, not only restricting it to a certain country, but from wherever we can get an expertise for a particular area, we are determined to get that and then work through, through those expert opinions with our clients and make their product available to patients who will appreciate the animal derivative free nature of it.
Yes, that makes sense. And for our listeners who aren't aware of this particular, I guess, product, what animal-derived products may be found in everyday medical products?
So this is actually very interesting. Normally, when we talk about animal-derived products, we would, like normally we would think, oh, so there are some products that are derived directly from animals, and that's why we have to have them because that is where the therapeutic effect of that product lies. But in fact, many animal-derived products that we find in day-to-day medical products are actually inactive products. Those are excipients. So they don't have they have they do affect our body, but they don't have that therapeutic effect on us. Like, for example, lactose, magnesium stearate, gelatin. Like, what really baffles me the most is, and what is the most common one is lactose. It is very versatile. It can be used as a binder. It can be used as a diluent. It can be used for inhalers. It can be used for powder medications, for tablets. So I can see why it is being used, but we have many options, plant-based options.
Yeah.
And I would like to see more products that, so at least, if as I said, if we cannot, if we are still in the process of replacing animal models, which we are doing really good, like we have amazing technologies happening around the world. We have organ on chip methods and things like that coming up, which is excellent, So while we are working on preclinical models, why can't we have a product that does not use animal products when it is not required?
Sure. Yeah. There's obviously, I would assume there's no legal requirement to use animal-derived products. It's just been a case of that is what people have been traditionally using. Is that the case?
Yes. Like, for example, gelatin-based capsules. We started using that like ages ago, maybe. I don't know how many, 400, 300, 400 years ago. And now, but we have plant-derived vegetarian and vegan capsules available in the market. So why not use that, which is better for environment, which is better for, it is easier for body to digest. Most of plant-derived excipients are fiber-based. So you, along with, getting a dosage form that you want, you're also getting that fiber benefits of it. And it is less toxic, because I'm using the term less toxic because I don't want to generalize that all plant-derived ingredients are safe always.
Yes.
Because it is very important for us to understand that some plant-derived ingredients are really potent. So, but what we are talking about here right now is excipients who do not have therapeutic value. So when it is not going to interfere with the therapeutic value of a given product, it is always good to have, something that is more sustainable and more compassionate in nature.
Yeah. So in terms of the benefits that these other non-animal products may have, it's environmental, maybe more effective in some cases, and ethical reasons. Is there any other, I guess, medical benefits that they may have?
Actually, yes, because what I was talking about is earlier was limited to excipients, right? But even pharmacologically active ingredients, say, for example, iron supplements, right? We have had for ages in medical industry, we have believed that heme iron is better than non-heme iron. Heme iron is animal-derived iron.
Okay.
It's basically it's a form of iron that is available only in muscles and animal-derived products. But it is absorbed quickly, and so it was supposed to be better. But what studies have found eventually is like heme iron actually increases chances of cancer. It increases chances, and this is not something that it is not something that is theory and people are assuming it. There are proper studies done. Like it increased 1 milligram of heme iron consumption increases the risk of heart disease by 27%.
Oh, wow.
So now that we know that, we can work with and the only drawback for non-heme iron was you need more quantities of it because it is not as easily absorbed and easily bioavailable. But along with that, because it is from plant-derived sources, you get minerals with it. You get vitamins with it, depending on what source you're going for. You get fibers with it. So overall, the richness of non-heme iron and the benefits of non-heme iron are way better and are really, it is now medical industry is starting to wake up to it that yes, plant-derived iron is, if not better, at least equivalent, you know?
Okay, that's really interesting to know. Yep, so definitely clear benefits in that case, and I imagine for other non-animal products as well. And in terms of your clients, I'm interested to know, Nisha, have you faced much resistance due to your positioning on animal-free products, or are they generally quite supportive?
I wouldn't say resistance, but there is lack of awareness.
Okay.
So there is this term when we think about plant-based products somehow, or animal derivative free products, somehow we go towards, the mind goes towards supplements or only leaf mixtures or only but that is not the case. There are many synthetic products that don't have any animal products in it. Like if, for example, just basic aspirin that we take quite often for painkiller, right? Aspirin comes from, so originally the whole inspiration for aspirin came from willow plant. And so they had, it has salicin, that is the compound that helps with the painkiller properties of that plant. And that inspired us to synthetically create a painkiller that we know as aspirin these days. So it inherently, aspirin does not have any animal derived product. So if a client who is making aspirin comes to me and wants to do a study, they are not thinking about animal derived product. They are not thinking in that direction. They are not actually aware of it being, and because that is what education is, something that is, they are very dedicated to their product, but not everyone is making their product, creating their product, thinking that, oh, I want it to be animal derivative free. And that's why you have
effect.
And that's why you have unaware use of animal derived products as excipients, because that is not the goal in their head. But having said that, things are changing really drastically, and people are going towards more sustainable product manufacturing anyways. So the change is happening, and there are many people who are making conscious choice, because there is a big vegan market as well.
Sure, definitely,
Things are changing.
And in terms of your knowledge, how would you say consumers feel about this issue, and how can consumers ensure that the medical products they purchase are animal derivative free?
This is a very tricky situation, because if we go by the regulations, TGA regulations in Australia, the manufacturers are not required to include non-active substances in their label. So you can understand only a certain level of ingredients on the label of that particular product. You can go to TGA website, and they have a ARTG register where non-active ingredients are listed, but you don't know what is going to be source of it. So like magnesium stearate, as I said, that is possible. You can obtain it from plant as well as animal.
Okay. You wouldn't know what the source was.
Yeah. So right now, the only way is to go to the manufacturer and call them and find out.
Okay. So there's no labeling scheme to show that if a product's classified as vegan or anything like that.
It is dependent on the manufacturer. So if they want to declare it, they can. But there is no regulation making it compulsory to declare it.
Okay. Yeah, I see.
But many manufacturers declare it, because again, as I said, there are many people who are looking for vegan options, vegan friendly options, vegetarian options. So people, especially in the supplement industry, manufacturers have started labeling it as vegetarian friendly or vegan friendly. And also the other interesting part is lactose intolerance.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah.
So now that because lactose intolerance is such a common thing, it has to be mentioned if because it comes as under the allergen group. So there are rules to protect, and there are rules that can help us find the information, but there is no regulation stating that you have to the sponsors have to, manufacturers have to declare whether the products were derived from animals or not.
Okay, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So unfortunately, at this stage, we have to go to the manufacturer and call them. And if we get answer, that's lucky.
Yes, that's a bit disappointing. But as you say, maybe there'll be some change there with pressure from consumers.
Yeah.
And I'm interested. Obviously, you have a motivation in founding Leorah Clinical and an interest and passion for protecting animals. So I'm interested to learn more about where that passion came from and how you found out about HRA.
Well, so I grew up in primarily vegetarian household, and in my upbringing, animals were treated more as friends and pets.
Yeah.
So that love was there, but I did not. But I was still, to be honest, as a kid, I did have meat in my diet occasionally, and when in my teenage years, I realized. So I was talking with one of my grandparents, and in that discussion, I realized what would be the feeling that chicken would have felt when it was being killed. And if I'm eating that, I am bringing that in me as well, and I'm contributing to that, to giving that feeling and that consciousness, to everyone around. So that's when I stopped eating meat personally. But it took me a while. Like it was not until I was 34 years old, I realized that even dairy industry has so much cruelty in it. And being a pharmacist, I knew the cruelty about animal experiments. So I was, and that's why I did my master's in biochemical pharmacology instead of just pharmacology, because pharmacology would be using whole animals as animal models.
Yes.
It was tricky for me because my passion was to understand how drugs, medical products work on the body, and the only way was through animal models, But luckily I found an university in UK, University of Southampton. They did biochemical pharmacology, so most of our pharmacological work was on cell lines and cell cultures and non-animal models, and so that opened my eyes to the fact that there is a different possibility. And I kept working towards that different possibility. And that is how Leorah Clinical happened. And for HRA, actually, I was looking for, in my head, as I said, although I can focus on clinical aspects of it, I always am aware that there is a preclinical aspect that has animal cruelty. So and there are many organizations in Europe that support, but I was looking for something like that in Australia. And a friend of mine visited a vegan expo in Brisbane, and he found out about you at that expo. And he was like, is it something you may be of, you might be interested in it? And I'm like, I'll have a look. And when I looked at the website, I'm like, this is exactly what I'm looking for, because it's like preclinical is HRA helps and supports decreasing, if not eliminating, but at least decreasing animal cruelty in preclinical stages and bringing awareness in preclinical stages. And manufacturers who are open to those changes are the manufacturers I am looking for to help them do clinical studies.
Sure. That would be your preference, to work with those kind of more ethical companies.
And then I'm also eventually, so how you asked me, how can we find out whether the medical product we purchase has animal derivative or not? So eventually I want to do something there as well, if I can. So I'm working on that, and there is a company in the US who does work around this kind of inquiries. So I want to understand what is their working model and can be applied to Australia. So so it's like I want to support the entire process of drug development, and that is what Leorah wants to do. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you. And it's so good to know that there's people in the industry itself that are taking all these steps and going out their way to make these changes. That's really inspiring for us and our listeners to hear. And I'm going to finish off with a question which I quite often ask on the podcast, and would really be grateful to get your insights into this based on all the extensive knowledge and experience that you have. And it is, do you have any suggestions as to how HRA can achieve our mission of ending animal experimentation, which I'm sure you understand is quite an ambitious mission, but we would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I agree that it is ambitious, but why not? Why not aim for what we really want?
Yes.
And work towards it. Every step counts, right?
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, I have not known enough of all the activities of HRA. So this may be something that you may be already doing.
Yeah.
But in investing in educating people about this, and making people aware, what animal experimentation actually involves, and that there are other ways, not only to people who are doing experimentations, but in general, in public.
Yes.
So they become aware that, okay, this is what, as I said, for myself, until it is really stupid being a pharmacist. But even at the age of 34, I was blind to the fact that cows are artificially impregnated for us to get the milk. So that is the level of blindness that we are used to.
Yes.
We are, of course, waking up, but animal experimentation is such a big. I know there are rules. There are laws to protect animals. There are animal welfare laws, and I'm not saying that there are no rules, but there is lack of understanding and lack of education in general around the areas that there are alternative experimentations available.
Yes, definitely agree with that.
So something to bring more awareness around the alternatives would be really good.
Brilliant. Thank you, Nisha. And is there a website that listeners can go to find out more about your company?
Yes, it is, as the name says, Leorah Clinical. It is leorahclinical.com.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you so much. It's been such an interesting chat, and I've learned a lot more about that issue myself. I wasn't very knowledgeable on all the different products that have been used. I knew about a lot of the animal-derived products, like the fetal calf serum, in the kind of process of creating medicines, but not about the lactose and so many of the other products that you don't think about. So it's really good to be aware of this. And thank you so much for all that you're doing.
Thank you too, Rachel. I'm really glad I found HRA. I found that organization, and organizations like you, your dedication towards ending animal experimentation, it gives us all hope. Like, we all want, in our hearts, we all want animal derivative free world. We want animal cruelty free world, So everyone together, one step at a time, and we are getting there.
Yes, thank you very much, Nisha.
Thank you.